Welcome to Fit After 40 Velo. Today we'll be having another Zone 2 talk. I'd like to say that all of my opinions are my own. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a coach or a trainer. So please do your own research and consult a doctor for any health and fitness questions you may have. Okay, welcome back to another Zone 2 talk. This is Fit After 40 Velo, and today we're going to talk about how alcohol is killing your gains and your brain all at the same time. Look, like we've all tried to play the game, right? Where you're grinding out a workout, whether it's in the gym, Zone 2 miles, like I'm putting in here, about an hour into a 2-hour Zone 2 ride I'm gonna do. And you do this and you feel like you're earning yourselves, some drinks tonight, some drinks next weekend, this weekend, whatever it is. But the reality is that you can't negotiate with physiology. And we'll get into some of the science and some of the reasons behind, what's killing your gains. While we're here burning fat, I'm gonna show you how a single night out puts your metabolism in a chokehold and signals to your muscle growth to hit the kill switch. We're gonna go deep in on Acetate Shield and why your nightcap is actually a recovery trap, and how alcohol is physically thinning out the part of your brain that keeps you disciplined. If you're tired of being skinny fat, or a little chubby, or you can't lose that extra little bit around the midsection there, this is probably why. Especially if you're out there working out, 4 times a week, doing either cycling, running, weightlifting, whatever that is, there's probably a good reason why you're not cutting that extra little bit that you want to cut. So we'll get right into it here. Basically, alcohol is putting on a metabolic pause. Alcohol is metabolically prioritized as a toxin because the body has no way to store it, and the liver immediately converts ethanol into acetate. Acetate acts as a metabolic shield when it enters the bloodstream, and the body prefers to burn it over everything else. So in other words, the acetate that was converted from ethanol burns immediately. It does that before it burns fat or anything else. So there are some studies out there that show just 2 drinks can suppress your lipid oxidation, which is fat burning, by up to 73% for several hours after you drink. Essentially, your body stops burning fat because it's trying to clear the acetate first. And then any food you eat while you're out drinking, so if you go out to dinner and you have, a whiskey, a bottle of wine, some beers over your dinner, it's basically going to guarantee that everything you just ate is going to get stored as fat instead of being burnt immediately after. So at the end of the day, what it's doing is it shuts down your fat burning furnace, which is what I'm doing here riding my bike. I'm trying to turn on my fat burning furnace. Also, I'm trying to get mitochondrial generation or changes in the cells of my muscles. That's why I'm doing Zone 2. That's a whole nother topic that we'll talk about on the channel here. But basically, I'm trying to fire up the furnace to burn fat overnight, over the rest of the day. And if I have a drink, it's going to stop that process. So, just be aware that the alcohol you drink is going to stop your metabolic processes. Let me jump in here and also remind you guys, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor. I am definitely not a trainer or anything like that. I have my own expertise that I do out in the real world. But I don't want this to come off as me telling you what to do. I want it more to be about, this is the research I've done and what I try to use. I'm not perfect. I still drink. So let's get that one out of the way here. The next one for me is a big one. I am trying to put on some muscle, right? muscle in my legs, a little bit of upper body muscle, not too much. I'm a cyclist. I want to stay skinny. I want to stay lean. I want to stay light. But I am in my mid 40s and I want to put on a little bit of muscle mass and tone and definition before I get to where it becomes really, really hard to do that. So part of that is protein synthesis hijacking is another symptom of using alcohol. Kind of the science behind it says that your muscle growth depends on a signaling pathway called your mTOR, mammalian target of rapamycin, which tells your cells to repair and grow. So basically, when you work out, you have mTOR, which fires up and says, "Ooh, I'm sore, I'm hurt. I need to grow. I need to repair myself, and I need to get a little bigger so that I can deal with the punishment of the exercise that you're putting your muscle through." There's also research out there that indicates that alcohol consumption post-exercise, in other words, you go out and you ride, you go work out, you lift, you run, you do whatever you're doing, but then you're like, heck yeah, let's celebrate this with a couple beers, right? Well, alcohol consumption post-exercise reduces your muscle protein synthesis by 24 to 37%. Furthermore, it increases your myostatin, which is a protein that literally inhibits muscle growth. So you're killing two things. You're slowing down protein synthesis and you're increasing myostatin. All that is fighting building muscle, right? And for a lot of guys, that's what we want to do. A lot of women want to build up some muscle. They have the same reason to build muscle as men do. So there's a lot of important factors to building muscle for men, women, and aging people altogether. You aren't just slowing your progress. You're biologically telling your body to stay small and weak, no matter who you are. And that's something that most of us can't afford. Maybe a lot of people probably can. People who've been in good shape. Maybe they don't drink as much as some of us do. But yeah, this is an important part of building your muscle, and it's important part of just overall fitness. This is all your body, right? Your fat, your muscle, all that stuff. There's other parts that alcohol is killing your brain. Like, it's not letting you sleep. It's not letting you recover properly. Alcohol is a sedative, right? It's not really a sleep aid. It's just a sedative. So while it might help you pass out or fall asleep faster, what it's doing is it destroys the quality of your sleep. Sorry, trying to catch my breath here and got to stay with the pacer so I can stay in my zone 2 ride here. So back to sleep, right? Like, it suppresses your REM, which is your rapid eye movement sleep, which is where all the repair of your brain and cognitive restoration takes place. It also spikes your resting heart rate and crashes your HRV, which is heart rate variability. So when you sleep, you want your heart rate variability to be high. The higher that is, if anybody has a smartwatch or whatever that tells them how they sleep, you want your HRV to be high. And alcohol kills that. If you ever do a good sleep study on yourself, or just pay attention, like if you don't drink for a week and you watch your HRV climb and climb for that whole week, and then over the weekend you drink maybe heavily over that weekend, your HRV just crashes, and it's gonna kill your sleep, and it's gonna kill your brain. Even a moderate amount of alcohol lowers your HRV just a little bit. It doesn't take much. Basically puts your brain into fight or flight overnight and keeps it in high gear all night and doesn't allow it to shut off and recover. So you might spend the night in a sedated state, rather than a recovery state. And you wake up, slept, but your brain hasn't actually cleared out any of the metabolic waste that it should have. Sleep is a thing that I struggle with. I'm not a good sleeper. I never have been. I used to be proud to say, I need 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, and I'm good to go. And though that may be true for some, for most it's not. For most, they fall in that 6 to 8 hour range. I'm doing better, but I'm also drinking less, right? Like, I used to drink not even too long ago. I would drink way too much, not way too much, every night though, 2 or 3, which just week after week after week kills what you're out here doing. So now I'm way down on my drinking, and I'm doing a better job of that. I'm still gonna drink. I'm still gonna share a bottle of wine with my wife once a week over dinner, but it's all the rest of the time that I'm really gonna try to cut out. We all have heard the other terminology for drinking, and what kind of happens the next day. You end up with brain fog and neurotoxicity. So basically, alcohol crosses into your brain instantly and triggers an inflammatory response in the microglia, basically your brain's immune cells, right? So all of a sudden you're getting inflammation on the brain, and it triggers this response in your brain that then starts to deplete your ability to think clearly. If you're a chronic or a heavy drinker, social drinker, whatever, there's studies out there that link that to shrinkage of your prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex is the area responsible for decision making and willpower. Let me say that again. Your prefrontal cortex is responsible for decision making and willpower. After you have a few drinks, that's why you go eat like crap. That's why you jump into the pantry, grab a bag of potato chips, get in your freezer, and grab that ice cream, because you've had a few drinks and now you have no willpower. So, and I am 100% proof of that. If I don't drink, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem at night. I think, nope, I don't need an extra snack. I just kind of shut down and go to bed. If I do, that's when the chips come out. For me, I'm a sucker for Triscuits and cottage cheese. Man, I don't know why. I just love dipping Triscuits and cottage cheese. And it's not that bad of a snack, but to do it at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night when you got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, definitely not the best thing, especially when you've been drinking. Decent protein there, but it's just gonna go and sit and turn into fat stores. So yeah, I lose my willpower too when I drink, just like everybody else. So there was a study there was a study of 36,000 adults that found that even moderate drinking was associated with reductions in overall brain volume. You're getting dumber, people. Like, that's kind of what it's telling me, is drinking alcohol is ruining your ability to think clearly and make good decisions, which there's proof everywhere. There's unfortunately proof all over the news about that kind of thing. But as your prefrontal cortex shrinks, your willpower muscle gets weaker, and this makes it physically harder for your brain to say no to bad food and stay disciplined, and also makes it harder for you to say, I'm gonna get off the couch and I'm gonna jump on my bike. I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna do my workout video. I'm gonna do, whatever it is. I'm gonna go lift. Maybe it's my day off of cycling, but I decide, today's the day I'll drink. I bet you I wouldn't do my workout the next morning. I think I tend to agree with all of this, and I mean, this is again just my own research. Or you can go out and read for hours about these types of these types of studies that are out there. These are just the few that I'm kind of quoting today. And then for the endurance athletes, what's most important for us, or not most important, but really important for us, is hydration. I just got a bottle with some hydration mix here. I've been really good about staying hydrated. I'm salty. I need a little extra salt when I do a lot of endurance type work. So I gotta have hydration mix and generally a pinch of salt in there too. But alcohol is another killer. It's a killer. It causes dehydration and nutrient depletion. Basically, alcohol is a potent diuretic. It inhibits your antidiuretic hormone, which causes the kidneys to release more water. In other words, it flushes the water out of you. And then for endurance athletes, for anybody, for people in general, right? Water's what you need to flush out your cells and clean your body out, clean your liver out, all that stuff. But when you don't have the fluid in there to do any of that stuff, you end up again in a bad way. So, along with water, you lose critical electrolytes and vitamins, specifically B vitamins, magnesium, and zinc. All the stuff that's in here it just gets flushed right out with your alcohol. That's why you urinate a lot. So these minerals are all cofactors and required for your ATP production, basically energy, and testosterone synthesis. Let me say that again. These minerals are required for testosterone synthesis. Men, listen up. Like, we all know we need testosterone to function, to have the willpower to get up at 4 a.m. and go to work, to do whatever that is. Women, you don't need as much. You do have some testosterone, but it's the same thing. It's a killer. And I'm speaking to the men right now a little more because there's all these drugs out there that you can use to increase your testosterone. You don't need a drug to increase your testosterone. You need less drugs, all right? Less alcohol. And that'll help increase your testosterone. It also, on the flip side, it also increases a process that converts your testosterone to estrogen. This is in men. Like, you are destroying your ability to build muscle and to stay powerful up here when you lose your testosterone, man. Like, you know, I don't know. I know all these things. I've done this research. I've been saying it for months, years almost, right? That I gotta slow down drinking. You know, I know it's killing me, and I've done this. I've done this research time and time again. But you know, the more I talk about it with my wife, with my family, not my kids. Of course, I don't talk to them. They're too little to understand. Other people at work, coworkers, when we talk about it, the more I'm convincing myself that all the things I'm saying here, I need to do a better job, and I am. I'm not drinking. Case in point, went to the ski resort this morning with my family. We all went snowboarding. Had a great time. You know, my 5-year-old's killing it. Not on a backpack, all by herself, up and down, top to bottom. You know, 3-mile runs. But she was done, wanted to take a break. So mom, my wife, and my son, we're gonna do just a fun, fast run for them. So I took my daughter in and we're sitting there, and I got her a hot cocoa. We got some snacks. I went and got basically a hot water with lemon in it, which I used to ask for a whiskey in there and have a hot toddy, but I said no this time. And I thought to myself, man, that would be good. Sure would be good to have a drink. I bet you I wouldn't be sitting right here on my bike right now if I had done that. So I'm only I'm only convincing myself here more and more that I'm doing the right thing, trying to cut back on alcohol and trying to stay fit and trying to eat right. So at the end of the day, you know, you drink alcohol, you're trying to run your fat burning engine, your athletic engine with your legs, your arms, your everything else you got there. At the end of the day, you're running it on low quality fuel and no coolant, right? You're not able to synthesize protein, you're not able to synthesize testosterone, and you're just shutting yourself off. You're shortchanging yourself. Again, I'm not saying you got to cut it out altogether. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. You drink as much as you like. I'm just telling you where I'm at and what I'm trying to talk about or trying to learn about for myself, and then try to convey with you. And if you want to, you know, take this journey, I mean, I'd really appreciate, you know, like and subscribe. I'm a brand new small channel, just trying to create a community, have some fun on my bike, talk about some topics that mean something to me. Hopefully it means something to you as well. So I really appreciate you stopping by Fit After 40 Velo. Stick around.